This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
I look at ESPN like a disappointed look, like a father being disappointed in his son. It's like, why are you the way you are?
Nick Morgeson.
This whole situation is nuts. Get to the table, get a vaccination agreement. I mean, heck, for crying out loud, and we're going to talk about it in a second, LeBron James came out and said he finally got the vaccine.
And Nick Federa.
Just a little bit of Home Shopping Network demonstration here on Empty the Bench. This is your cell phone. What this cell phone does?
What?
Can track you better than any vaccine can.
Empty the Bench starts now.
Here's the thing, Mr. Nutkicker. You can't catch pregnant.
Can you? Can you not?
Hello, you glorious nutkickers.
So, hashtag Nutkickers. That's going to be Nick Federa's fan base now, the Nutkickers.
I didn't realize you could catch pregnancy.
I mean, I guess you can, according to Draymond Green.
Welcome to episode 106 of Empty the Bench. Nick Morgeson and Nick Federa here. I am Tom Albano. Gentlemen, quite a bit of stuff we got to talk about today. This episode is stuffed. MLB Playoffs are underway. We've got somebody... The term draining his Jaguar is going to be used on this episode.
Yes!
To Nick Morgeson's enjoyment. Of course, we have NFL Week 5 predictions, and Week 5 off to a tremendous start that Russell Wilson's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks now.
And by the way, I'm going to say this right now. I'm unveiling a new sound effect when we get to Urban Meyer.
Oh, joy.
Oh, great.
I've had enough with sound effects, but enough about what's going on in my personal life. Let's get to our top story. And unfortunately, we were going to start with baseball. We were going to start with that, but some happenings in the NBA have caused some pretty major changes to this lineup. So instead, we have to start with the fact that 18 former NBA players, the biggest name of which, at least in my opinion, Glenn Big Baby Davis, the former NBA champion, arrested and charged in a $4 million healthcare fraud scheme.
Yeah,
What?
the NBA doesn't have enough going on with all their issues. Let's just add a health fraud benefits issue. Now, we're talking about players who are not in the NBA anymore. We're talking about players that have moved on into the sunset, adios, arrivederci, they're gone. And now they're basically going and getting root canal surgeries or getting their teeth cleaned or doing any other type of medical thing. And some of them are outside the country and they're using GPSs to fake that they're in the dental office to scam money.
What?
Now, I've seen some healthcare fraud in my day, but that definitely is a new one.
I don't get it. It's one of the NBA has enough problems with money. They have enough problems with people frauding the NBA. We're talking about COVID where people won't get the vaccine. Now we're going to talk about people frauding the NBA for millions?
So that's the thing. You mentioned that it's former players, and you're right. There's all these former players. They're all adios. They're into the sunset now. They're supposed to be living a good life in retirement. You see the Brady Gronkowski commercial about how good retirement life is. Well, for these guys, retirement life maybe isn't so grand, but the fact that we have now 18 people associated with the NBA arrested and this kind of major health care scheme, this is regardless of if they're retired or not or active players, this is a black eye on the NBA.
It is, and it's just, well, we should really. I need to know something. They do get health insurance when NBA players retire,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The way it works is I think you have to be in the league for like a good 2 to 3 years, probably at least on the minimum. And this, I don't know, it's different in each league, but you even get a pension. I didn't know about this, but in a lot of the sports, you get a pension. Some of these guys that make millions of dollars are getting pensions. And then this drove me to the edge of volcanic eruption when I found out that the guy who's leading this operation, Terrence Williams, former Brooklyn Net, former New Jersey Net, is writing prescriptions in a fake way and basically handing it off to other players like in a pyramid scheme to get the money.
See, I don't know whether this is a result of the NBA's healthcare pension not being as large as it needs to be, because I'm sure they would make that argument. But
The only thing I would argue about that is I feel like the NBA cares for its players in post-retirement life a lot more than, say, the NFL or the MLB does.
and we've had those conversations over the years with CTE and everything.
Well, look at the NFL. They're suing the players. Former players are suing the NFL for healthcare issues.
But that's been going on for how many years now?
I've lost track.
That's a constant thing. That's been going back to the last decade.
Yeah, that at least for the last 10, 12 years.
But what's so crazy about this, and I'm reading, so all these players are facing counts of conspiracy to commit healthcare and wire fraud. And by midday of Thursday this past week, 16 of the former 18 players had been taken into custody. Custody!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is big. So the operative question here is Adam Silver going to bring down the Pete Rose ban hammer?
I don't know. Well, you're never going to be able to ban the players in the NBA. I told you, their Players Association and their protection of the players is so big that it'll never happen.
Well, technically, they don't play anymore, so I guess they are limited in what they can do.
But Terrence Williams, the guy who was on the Brooklyn Nets and a bunch of other teams, he's what they call the scheme's linchpin. He was in charge. He was the captain. Mm-hmm. He was the Tom Brady of this organization. Yes, I know I use Tom Brady. I'm not getting on Tom Brady. I'm just using that as a name to say he's in charge. He was accused of supplying false invoices to support the fraudulent claims in exchange for kickback payments that totaled $230,000.
Well, Nick, you bring up the NBA Adam Silver, and that's my question. So far we really haven't heard Mr. NBA, Mr. Morgan, anything from the NBA or NBPA, correct? But that's my question: is what are they going to do in this matter? I know these are former players, so they can't act as much as if it was active players.
You have NBA pensions. You have NBA pensions.
It's still NBA pensions. It's still people associated with the National Basketball Association. So it's not like you can't do nothing. You would have to do something, right? You would have to some sort of statement or anything, but it's just been silence.
Number one. FBI, open up! Seriously, where is the FBI on this thing?
They kind of got caught. They kind of got caught with their pants down in this situation.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the NBA again being late to a situation that they don't know how to handle. And then they have to do damage control once they figured out, oh shit, we're in trouble. We have a fraud scandal. We have a COVID scandal. We have a Ben Simmons scandal. We have a Kyrie Irving scandal, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But it's crazy.
How much do you want to bet that they'll resolve this quicker than they will all the other issues? Because it's money out of their pocket that they were being defrauded from. And that's the reason why I don't really have a lot of sympathy for the league. Because when you get down to it, at the end of the day, the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I hate to say this, though, but they're not going to care because what is $4 million to the NBA? Nothing.
Good point.
And again, also retired players. It's not like you have Kyrie Irving or Andrew Wiggins or Ben Simmons who are front and center in the league right now with all the headlines in them, and not just for playing reasons. Well, in Kyrie's case, maybe not playing reasons.
Well, you're missing one more part of this situation. We'll get to Kyrie. This situation goes all the way back to 2018.
I mean, it's millions of dollars. I'm not surprised it goes all the way back that point.
But wait a minute. How did the NBA not catch it? This is what I'm talking about. 2018. We're almost in 2022.
Because, again, it's fraud.
But 4 years? The NBA didn't say, oh, crap, we have money missing out of our health benefits?
That's,
again,
I mean, it happens fraud. To the NBA, it happens to the FBI, it happens to everywhere.
Right.
That's fraud for you.
One of the guys who was using allegedly using GPS tracking software to say he was in a dental office, was playing in a Taiwan Super Basketball League game while allegedly he was in a health office.
Which is a hell of a way to get out of a doctor's appointment.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
I got to tell you.
I'm sorry. Seriously. You can't make this up.
You can't. All right, let's go to the more on the court issues with the NBA right now. So there's good news and there's bad news, guys. The good news is Andrew Wiggins got the COVID vaccine. The bad news is Kyrie Irving hasn't, and yet he's being allowed to practice.
Oh, yeah, I was going to bring that up to you guys before we got to this episode, that the Brooklyn Nets decided to make it a huge social media fiasco, that his car showed up and he walked into the facilities due to a loophole that allows him to practice. Not the NBA, a loophole legally.
Oh, and remember, we're talking about practice. Not a game, not a game. We're talking about
practice.
It's too bad. I should have pulled that. I should have pulled that Allen Iverson sound. That would have been good for now. But I don't know. The NBA is frustrating me right now, and I love the NBA. And Tom and Nick, this is going to be a shocker. You might end up under your desks in cover. But I'm starting to hate the NBA.
No, shocker.
No. I mean, like, to the point where I could stop watching it.
I mean, how many incidents have we had where everybody's threatened to not watch and then they just end up watching anyway?
Okay, well, no, I was going to say, let's see what we've had over the last few years. We've had the China situation. We had the COVID shutdown. They were leading in the COVID shutdown. Do you remember when they attempted to jump the line for the COVID vaccine? And you had Barkley's comments about how they make millions of dollars and so they should be first.
Hey, we have money. Let's jump the line anyway and get the vaccine. No one is sicker than they are. No,
we don't care about our doctors, our police and firemen, all these first responders on the front lines of the pandemic. No, they don't need it.
Can they hit a 3-point range from downtown? I don't think so.
Can they dunk a basketball? No.
You never know. You could have one of these 6'10" like fire marshal who can play pretty well.
Okay, I'll take that one back. But 3-pointers, I'm not too sure. But
still, I'm glad. I do have to say, I'm glad that Andrew Wiggins listened to my little Home Shopping Network demonstration last week.
That was such a classic moment on last episode.
According to Mr. Wiggins, it was not a matter of he's convinced or anything. It's a matter of he just wants to play.
and I'm sure the salary reduction.
Why you always lying? Oh my God! Stop fucking lying.
I'm sure the salary reduction had something to do with it.
I'm pretty sure about that too. Yes.
I mean, when you're being threatened to miss 41 games, which is half the season, 82 games, 41 home games, 41 away games. 41 games is a lot of money to lose.
It is.
So now I need to understand something about this whole these mandates, like here in New York and California and such. So, and how it relates to the NBA, not in general. So, the home games they would not be allowed to play. But let's say Kyrie goes to the Garden for a Nets-Knicks game. Can he play?
No.
No.
What if he goes? So if he goes to Golden State for a Nets Warriors game, he can't play.
So
he's not vaccinated.
Knicks, Nets, and Golden State all have local.
So technically, no. So technically, then, Mr. Morgeson, that could be, depending on how many times you play a certain team, that could be 42 games. That could be 47 games.
I mean, since
technically you can only see him if he plays in Minnesota Timberwolves games or Houston Rockets.
Right.
The difference is the ones against Golden State are not going to matter as much because maybe you'll see them twice a year, maybe.
But playing across town
against
against the Knicks.
the Knicks,
and within the Eastern Conference, it's gonna matter.
Right.
It's gonna matter.
Well, for the Knicks games, because they're going to play the Knicks like 6-7 times a year at least.
Probably. So and the Nets. And the Nets, who were just picked by the general managers in that GM poll to be the favorites for the NBA championship. If Kyrie doesn't play those games, that hurts that potential.
Well, to be quite honest, I think KD and James Harden could lead that team if they really had to, because KD can be a de facto point guard, power forward. But to be quite honest, and you guys have probably seen it on social media, I want them to trade Kyrie Irving. I want to be done.
And I agree. I think the problem you're going to have is, considering that this is a black eye to the Brooklyn Nets, you're not going to get for the kind of value that you
The
would
Brooklyn
get.
Nets. Try the NBA. It's a black guy for the NBA. What Kyrie Irving is doing?
No, but my point is, if you let's say you try to trade him to just for purposes Minnesota, you're not going to get the kind of value that you could normally get considering.
And they're going to want him to play.
Right. It's like what's going on in the NFL with Deshaun Watson, how he's been involved with all his scandals.
I don't know if I would say it's exactly the same thing, but I would say
Not exactly,
the Le'Veon Bell situation.
Okay,
that's a better one. Yeah.
But I was going to say the difference, like for like a Ben Simmons, this is like a Ben Simmons type situation where you're so devalued from what the shit that he's pulling. Now there's a rumor for Ben Simmons that he packed up his house in Philadelphia
and he put it on the market.
And he put it on the market. So basically what Ben Simmons is saying now, F you 76ers organization, I'm tanking my value so you're forced to trade me. So the difference for Kyrie Irving is that he's defying every rule there is, and he's going to tank his trade value, not on purpose, but he's just doing it because he doesn't want to follow a mandate.
Again, this is the
Doing
same.
it because he knows more than doctors do.
Again, this is the same individual who thinks the world is flat.
Well,
yes,
he said it was flat, then he tried to walk it back.
No, there is no walking that back.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not.
Flat man.
No, I wasn't saying he would I would ever give him any BS for that. But I don't know, Kyrie. And this is going to get me in trouble partially because of NBA trades. I think that the Nets should call the Sixers and they should trade Kyrie Irving straight up for Ben Simmons.
What?
The Sixers would want him to play, though, even if they accepted that trade.
But there's no mandate in Philly.
There's no mandate in Philly, but they're going to travel to places where there is a mandate.
And that's going to say, again, the Eastern Conference, it kind of screws you. For Kyrie to get better value, I think you need to trade him west.
I don't know. I mean, Kyrie Irving is, like Nick said in the last episode, we're going from tinfoil hat to tinfoil suit at this point.
He lives in he wears a tinfoil suit, he lives in a tinfoil hat, and his world is made of tinfoil. I
mean, instead of like the old woman living in a shoe, he's living in a tinfoil hat or a tinfoil suit or a house.
All I can picture as you guys are talking this is like a house wrapped in tinfoil while the Twilight Zone theme starts playing.
By the way, this episode is brought to you by Reynolds Wrap.
Not really.
I wish. Reynolds Wrap, if you'd like to be a sponsor on this podcast,
we'll wear tinfoil suits on air.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this whole situation is nuts, and it's crazy, and it's ridiculous, and it's a monster of a situation, to be quite honest.
Speaking of monster, let's go to the MLB playoffs, guys. It's October. It's one of the best times to be a baseball fan, and so far the playoffs have delivered, I'd say.
Well, they've delivered. They've delivered, but not for Yankee fans.
No. So let's start with that. Red Sox beat the Yankees in the AL wildcard game, and I wish I could have something special for this, like I did with the NL banner, but it was a whooping. It was a country whooping.
It was an ass kicking. It was from here to tomorrow. And as angry as I am, and as much as I yelled at Phil Nevin the other night like he shot my mother, I have to make something entirely clear. And that is that I don't blame. This is a problem that was 6 months in the making.
This was
about the 6 months before the other night.
Do you want me to be honest? As much as I'm a Yankee fan, this team did not deserve to win the game.
They
did not deserve a playoff spot.
They did not perform. They did not perform well. They won 92 games, but
they didn't deserve shit.
That papered over a lot of flaws with this team.
And by the way,
that losing record against the AL East. If you win one more game, this game's at Yankee Stadium, and the dynamic
and that changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it anyway.
I know, Nick fallacy. Would they have won if it was in Yankee Stadium? I can't say that, but the dynamic
would change.
And the atmosphere would change a lot.
But the one thing I would say, and by the way, we have to talk about a funny moment that happened in the first inning of the game. or was it the second inning? I can't remember, but it happened at the beginning of the game where Stanton hits a monster fly ball near the monster, and everybody from Matt Fiskerson on ESPN to John Sterling on.
I will admit, I'll be guilty. I got fooled. I thought it was out.
I thought it was a home run
The
too.
camera followed the ball as if it was out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that cameraman should be fired, by the way, for completely deceiving everybody.
ESPN always does that because they, first of all, they jack the crowd noise when the ball travels from the pitcher to the catcher because they want the crowd to go whoop.
I hate that. I also hate the crackling of the glove. I hate when they do that too. But
we're not here. We're not here to criticize ESPN's broadcast. We'll be here all night. But
but the way this game went, when I'm sitting and watching this game, I'm like, Garrett Cole sucked. That's clearly what happened.
he did.
Garrett Cole, let's be honest. Let's be honest, guys. In the second half of the season, Garrett Cole did not live up to what he should be.
And it's because of the hamstring. I'm telling you, it's because of the hamstring.
F your hamstring injury. The guy's worth $324 million.
It's the fucking hamstring.
And again, DJ LeMahieu was basically out until the LCS. You don't think you could have gotten that issues with his hernia and stuff? The fact that he was hurting for months, you couldn't have got this treated sooner.
And you can't tell me that this wasn't hurting him earlier. You can't tell. He had a down year.
Again, no, I just said,
yeah.
Nick, I just said you couldn't have treated this earlier.
But wait a minute. Are we going to go back to training staff issues like we've had over the past couple of years with
Nick,
players?
this is more, Nick. But the fact that you were saying, that again with the training staff, that means it's more than a training staff issue.
Oh no, I'm agreeing.
This is an organization issue.
No,
this is an organizational issue in that it's not necessarily that the analytics. There's too much analytics because the Rays and the Red Sox are just.
It is a matter
more analytically inclined.
Let me put it to you.
Good analytics.
Let me about good analytics, but let me put it to you this way. It's a matter of and I think A-Rod has talked about this not just on Monday, but multiple times this season. The Yankees are trying to be something that they are not. The Yankees are trying to not be the Yankees.
By the way, can we shit on A-Rod for the amount of things he got wrong during the telecast? Also,
yeah, but let's stay on topic.
No. The reason I bring that up is because A-Rod was making up things that happened during the season, and he was talking about how Garrett Cole was in his second season with the Yankees when he's already in his third or whatever.
No, he's in his second.
No, he's in his second.
I thought they were saying he was in his third.
No. They did. 2020 was his first year.
Talking about?
Oh no. That he was going after the season. He was going into his second. A-Rod said
he's going into his third year.
He's going into his third season, his second full season. Right, we had that stupid 60-game season last year.
Yeah, the shortened pandemic season.
But he just looked like a rookie out there pitching. I hate to say it, but that's what. And he couldn't get out of the second inning. Your ace couldn't get out of the third inning. Excuse me, third inning.
Which is why I got concerned. I'd say now, Boone and company were right in that they were using all the bullpen pitchers. They ended up being right on Sunday when they won 1-0 to get into this game. But I said, if Cole gets shelled again, it's going to hurt.
Well, it hurt, all right. I mean, the pitching, I'll give the Yankee bullpen credit because they held it for as long as they could.
Right. And this is after a season where they've had, 18, 19 blown saves?
And the other problem is, Nick, I'm going to pull out the tinfoil conspiracy theory again.
Oh, no.
Do you think that this whole spider tech...
Wait. I need a hat somewhere.
But do you think that the whole spider tech, after they told all the players they couldn't use the spider tech anymore, do you think that really affected them as bad as it was?
Going to be with you in the year first, I would say.
I don't know. I'm just tired of it all. I'm tired of him pitching horribly in the postseason, and he's making $324 million over 10 years, and the guy can't pitch in the postseason.
Well, let me ask you to this. So we've had some comments from, say, A-Rod and from Booney after the game, basically kind of hinting that the Yankees of today, they are not the Yankees that we know. So And we have talked about with, what is the level of success with this team when you consider that Cashman, everyone wants all these changes to make, but maybe Cashman has a leash on him, or Cashman's not willing to do certain moves. The fact that Cashman has held on to, I mean, consider the fact that next season, at the start of next season, you're going to get Hicks back. You're going to get Frazier back, Andrew Hart back, and consider the guys like Florial and company and Allen who are like in the minors. You could have up to 10 outfielders who are going to be fighting for spots on the 40-man roster.
You have too many guys on the roster.
But now this is again my point, and we've had some comments from Yankees Twitter and such about maybe consider and the critics that maybe Hal cares more for money and what the people are coming into the stadium than championships. So let me ask you guys this then. Is everything that we talk about now, everything that we talked about with the history of this team and the prestige and the pinstripes and everything in the 27 World Series, does that mean anything now to this team?
No,
I don't know if it does.
It absolutely doesn't.
It does from a marketing standpoint. Because
it does from a marketing standpoint, maybe. For in reality, I don't know if this matters anymore.
I think you might be a little bit too cynical. Because I do believe that the players care.
No, that's bullshit.
I never said anything about the players. I never said anything about the players caring or not.
No, I agree with you, Tom. I think that they're so worried about money.
I'm pointing to front office and management.
Oh, yeah. The front office is so worried about the budget and the money and that they're going to take in. They're not going to spend on players. It used to be, we're the big bad Yankees. We're going to spend for every big free agent. And the one thing that A-Rod said right all night on the telecast, and Tom, you referred to it, don't be the Tampa Bay Rays. You have to be the Yankees. You use your resources and your money the way that you use it, because that's who you are.
You buy,
not sell.
Because again, imagine if in 2017, 2018, you pulled the trigger and you traded Clint Frazier. Imagine if you ended Gardner's contract, the constant giving on years earlier than anticipated. Imagine if you went out and instead of like this last trade deadline, instead of getting what's his face who ended up Andrew Heaney, you got, say, a Danny Duffy from Kansas City. Or you got some of these other guys like Berrios. Imagine if you did, and imagine if this team doesn't, blow saves early in the season. And imagine if you treat a guy like LeMahieu and Cole's injuries earlier. Imagine how different this season could have been. Imagine how different the level of success this could have been. And I think that's the biggest gripe about this season with me and why I give like a D-. Because yes, you made the playoffs, but this should have been a lot more. Actually, considering that this team, through like the halfway point of the season, they were like a 500 team, and they had been 500 in 2020 and 2021. By that point of 2021, rather, when this team was a 100-win team in 2018 and 2019, there should have been a lot more.
I was going to say this team this year was a game of streaks. We saw the team win 13, then they would lose 7, then they'd win 8.
And you can't be a streaky team. I mean, there's only one way you can be a streaky team and have success and win World Series is if you get hot at the right time. And for the Yankees, they got cold at the wrong time.
The one thing, and Nick, you can tell me if you agree with this or not, I think, and Major League Baseball is going to come down and burn us when I make this comment, but I don't consider the one game wild card a playoff spot.
That should be, if you want to consider a playoff series, that should be a 2 out of 3.
I don't agree. I think that they added this extra game for money. They're not doing it for prestige.
You want a real first round? So when the New York Penn League existed here before minor league baseball was there, did all their crap.
Ceased to exist.
Yeah. Right. So how it worked was you had 4 teams in the playoffs, 3 division winners and a wild card. And regardless of how the matchups went, regardless of the round and the matchups, the first game was at the lower seeds home park. Game 2, and if necessary, game 3 was at the higher seeds home park. That's what the wild card round should be, in my opinion.
That's interesting. I mean, that's a unique way of putting it. But Rob Manfred, for every other bullshit issue we get on for him, whether it's COVID, whether it's the union, whether we're going to have a lockout after this season.
I'm nervous about that as well.
Like, you got to work on your playoff format. The NFL is already effing up their playoff format because they want to add more games. Stop adding games. You're taking away the prestige. The more teams what is it now? The NFL's going to have 50% of teams in the playoffs now? Like,
just under 50.
that's too many.
And yet the NFL made the 14-team work. But then again, you also have to remember something. NFL's different. NFL's playoffs is win or go home each game.
Right, but I'm just saying
you play weekly. It's not like baseball where you play every day.
But Major League Baseball, if you're just going to keep adding teams, why don't we just put everybody in the playoffs at this point? Because that's what we're going to do. That's where we're going to end up.
I'll be honest. It was okay. It last season, the shortened season when they had the 16-team format, it was cool when we were all at home and we were able to watch baseball all day long. But now some of us who are in the working world are getting back in there and can't watch every game. And the fact that you're going to have 16, 16 is greater than 15. You're going to have more teams. Most of the league make the playoffs. I mean, it's kind of the criticism that the NBA and NHL can get for their playoffs. The fact that a team like, in this case with baseball, if we applied it to this season, the Reds, who are 83 and 79, could get a playoff. Or let me do it even better. If we're going to talk 16 teams, the Phillies, who are 82 and 80. So a 500 team is going to get into the postseason.
We had this discussion about the playoffs where the Dodgers, 106 win team, were playing
a one and done
against the Cardinals, which, by the way, talk about streaks. We're one of the white hot teams in Major League Baseball. Can you imagine if the Cardinals beat the Dodgers? What Major League Baseball would have had a shit fit if the Dodgers were out.
And now look, we got a Giants-Dodgers division series, and you want to know why? Chris Taylor, that right there for the crap that we just gave the wild card game, and is it a real playoff game? That is playoff magic. That is MLB playoff magic. A walk-off win to send your team to the next round.
By the way,
we've seen when the system work, and we've seen what happens when
Yeah, you got the best and the worst. It is the best of times. It is the worst of times.
And by the way, the game was way too long. I hate to say it, but the game was too long. It was 4 hours and 20 minutes.
I mean, I enjoyed myself.
I enjoyed it.
It was a good game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're going to have a 0-0 game going into the ninth for 4 hours and 20 minutes, I guess that's fine. But take it way too effing long to get through.
But now here's the real matchup. It's the matchup that everybody wanted.
Giants Dodgers.
I'm sure they wanted it in the NLCS, but still.
Yeah, but we're gonna, because of the playoff format, we have to make it in the NLCS.
And what is Schultz doing? Taking out Gallegos, the guy they got in the Yankee trade that was their closer, to put in a McFarland who was released in June? What are you doing?
I mean, we talked about the list. We've talked about the last few seasons, Yankees included, some of the bizarre pitching decisions in baseball. I mean, remember when we were giving Dave Roberts shit like a year or so ago for some of the pitching decisions? Remember last year, Kevin Cash
pulling Tyler Glass now?
Yep, and guess what happened? Glass now left.
Bye now. Goodbye.
Yeah, but where is he now? Oh, but wait a minute, where is he now? He's sitting at home playing golf.
Goodbye.
Actually, wait a minute. Since you said goodbye, I'll break it out now.
So,
wait,
Mr. Morganson.
There you go.
Do you remember I used that? Do you remember I used that for our first trade deadline live broadcast?
I said, let me break this out. I was going to save it for Urban Meyer, but I'll break it out now since we were all saying goodbye to.
All right, but very quickly, because we have a lot more stories we got to get to. Give me, what is your World Series matchup, and who do you see winning it?
My World Series matchup is a rematch of last year's matchup because I don't see the Rays getting beaten, even though they did last night. But I don't see them taking the Red Sox taking this one from them. And I got to say, I like the Dodgers. I think they're deep enough to offset the loss of Muncy.
Now, that being said, if you guys saw my ETB Sports Minute this morning, I made mention, I think with how the Giants came from nowhere and all of a sudden became the team, the highest winning team and the best team in baseball right now, I think I agree with Nick Videra that the Rays are going to get to the World Series and lose again. But I don't think it'll be the Dodgers. I'm going to go the opposite of this one. I think it'll be the Giants. And I think the Giants, it's going to feel like 10 years ago again. The Giants on top.
I mean, that would be a hell of a turnaround if that happened.
It would be probably one. It would be probably one of the greatest turnarounds in baseball history.
I mean, I'll go to what Katy Perry calls her song. I call it a dark horse and say that the Giants are going to make it and they're going to play the Rays. It's good. That would be an unbelievable World Series, in my opinion. I think better than Dodgers.
It would be a great World Series. It would.
The only worry I have in terms of baseball is, again, I mean, San Fran, decent market, Rays, again, a small market. Are people going to watch? I'll say as a baseball fan, I am going to watch that if that World Series happens.
By the way, they fibbed, the Rays, when they said how many were in the stadium. They said there was 27,000 fans in that stadium. That is the biggest load of bullshit.
Who wants to be in that ballpark? Let's be real.
They don't, because they want to be in Montreal, and that's the dirty secret, isn't it? Stu Sternberg, as much as you Rays fans are getting off on this and giving the Yankees shit, I'll tell you this:
I can't wait till next year.
Sternberg doesn't give a shit about you.
I can't wait till next year. The Tampa Bay / Montreal Rays.
Congratulations, dickweeds. He will move this team.
Let's get to football. We have a lot of football we got to get to. We got to run through this. So, Mr. Gruden, the sock puppet. Well, the Raiders are having some great success, and well, it's funny. I'm thinking of the NBA, like Donald Sterling. The Clippers were having great success, and then a racist issue came up, and now Gruden's having good success with the Raiders so far this season, and well, here we are.
I mean, we're talking about the sock puppets, so the only thing I can think of is this.
Look at all the failure.
I mean, that's the only thing that came to my head in this whole situation. Look at all the failure. When's the last time the Raiders were a decent team, to be quite honest?
I was in diapers. I might not have been. My father might have still been on the dating scene when that happened.
So,
by the way, Jon Gruden is the biggest you-know-what in all of sports. All of sports, not just the NFL. All of sports. This is so right up his alley that he would use racist comments to...
So, context is necessary. So this is a 10-year-old email. This is from 2011. Gentlemen, my sports knowledge heads, do you guys remember what happened in 2011 before the season?
Was there a lockout?
There was a lockout, and there was a really big fear that it was going to run into the season. So this was an email, according to ESPN, sent to the president of the Washington football team at the time in 2011. And Gruden said that DeMaurice Smith, who is the NFLPA head, even to this day, had, quote, the lips the size of Michelin tires.
What?
Which, oh my God, you idiot.
So, wait. What?
So if you guys don't know, when somebody has big lips, it is often
it's
associated.
A stereotype calling down to it's a callback to
the old caricatures of African Americans. Yeah,
racist blackface tropes dating to very too soon in our country's history, if I may be honest.
What?
Which happened? I know you're, and Jon Gruden, he's not exactly the most racially sensitive person, as this email proves, but you're also an idiot.
Wait,
Jesus, how could you say that and not think there would be repercussions?
Wait a minute. This goes back to the whole issues of the NBA. Why is it taking 10 years for this to come out?
Well, that's my next question. How the hell did who found this email and what happened?
Wait a minute. Was this like deep in the Gruden files instead of the X files? It's the Gruden files.
He was at ESPN at the time.
Wasn't he? He wasn't coaching at the time. He was with I think he was at ESPN. He was doing the Gruden's Corner or whatever it was.
It's foreign. I mean, I'd get rid of him, but that's just me. But
well, the NFL is investigating this right now.
Investigating. Really? You know, first of all, that they're not going to get rid of him. That's a 10-year guaranteed contract.
No, they're not. Because the fact that it's a 10-year-old email means that far enough away can
If
get
they're
away.
gonna, if they do anything, they're probably going to suspend him. For a few
Yeah,
seasons.
right.
Friend him, he'll say, "I went activity training, realized you black people that want to be. Isn't that amazing?"
2 games. I guarantee you, 2 games.
I don't know what to do. I'm so confused by this.
Gentlemen, Mr. Gruden is not a racist.
Mr. Gruden, racist? That's more of a. Oh my God, even more racist than I thought. Well, here's the thing. Thank you. No further questions.
I would like to read a statement from the NFL.
Shut up, Mr. Gruden. Shut up.
Unfortunately, he's been suspended for 2 games, and now we don't have anybody to talk to.
Shut up.
All right, let's change Nick's tone. So let's talk about this man.
Yes. Yes.
The phrase "joining his Jaguar" was going to be used on this broadcast. So
Yes!
Urban Meyer last week. I know this is a week old, but we hadn't had the time to talk about it.
It happened right after the show.
Right, he was caught on video getting a lap dance from a woman, and sounds
not
great.
his wife.
It sounds great. He is married, and it wasn't his wife. Whoops.
Oops.
Somebody had themselves a great weekend. So
Wait a minute. I know who would enjoy this situation.
I mean, Ric Flair would be open with it. I mean, at least he's going to say, "Yeah, I did it." So what?
Off
Who
the Space
cares?
Mountain.
I'm effing famous.
But dude, still, of course. I mean, in the week since this story broke, I mean, we've seen the Jaguars PR team and the owner Shad Khan.
He apologized. Apparently,
he apologized and said, "We stand by Urban Meyer. We don't."
No, he actually, the Jaguars team has actually said that Meyer, quote, must regain our trust and respect. So they're standing by him as their coach.
wait a minute. You want me to read into that when they say they have to regain their trust? This is what I think it means.
So
you're on thin mice. Thin mice.
So wait a minute. So let me put it to you this way. So would he be able to make it up to the Khan family if Urban Meyer went to competed on a match in AEW?
Do I have to ask? Do I have to answer?
You have to wrestle Chris Jericho
And
and Kenny Omega.
You know what, though? I'm just going to look out the door where I see Urban Meyer standing.
No. He has to wrestle Eric Bischoff, and then we got a deal.
No, I would just look over to the door that's in my room over here, the exit.
It's at the Jaguar. The locker room hates his guts at this point.
So,
I mean, they're liars if they say that they're going to stay with him. Come on.
So the Jaguars are 0-4 this season, guys. This tweet still lives. That means they still up. So there's a viral tweet that is coming from 2020 where the Jaguars won in week 1, and they said 1 win isn't enough. They haven't won a game since.
I remember that tweet too.
We'd like to issue a correction. It actually is enough. So please stop losing.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers, what do you think about this?
RELAX.
All right. Very quickly, one sentence, guys. One sentence, quick run through time. So Stefan Gilmore got released by the Patriots and is now on the Panthers. What do you think? I think that the Panthers are actually a team to watch out for this season.
So I mean, it's the Patriots' loss. I mean, the Panthers are going to get better, and it's amazing that they're good. And I can see you squirming in your seat there, Nick.
I would just say, he asked for one sentence. It's the Patriots.
Money matters. You're right for them. And Justin Fields officially named the starting QB for the Bears. Is it finally about time? Like this should have been a start, or did his first NFL appearance kind of shaking up your stance a little bit?
Wait a minute. He was named the starter?
But are you a fan of this, considering he looked really bad in his first
It's
start?
not his fault. The team
It's not
stinks.
his fault. He's still got more potential than Nick Foles does.
The team stinks.
I save Allen Robinson, save that man, and trade him away. Please trade him to a team that is actually going to use a good receiver.
Allen Robinson, here's your life raft.
I mean, to be quite honest, the Bears are a big.
All right, now let's get you mad. One more mad story before we get into the rapid rundown. Sage Steele, the ESPN personality who has spoken out completely against COVID and the vaccines and such, has tested positive for COVID.
And we got you covered because we have plenty of proof to show you of these clips. And Nick and I talked about it on the new podcast, Beyond the Bench, which is on our podcast network. We talked about this. It dropped yesterday. So go check it out on our Empty the Bench podcast network channel. But this story is nuts. Nuts, I tell you.
And I'm not going to rehash all the points that I made then, but I will say that it's amazing to contrast the response that Jamel Hill got and the response that ESPN gave Sage Steele.
ESPN basically laid on their backs and it basically accepted being effed at this point.
So let's pull off a couple of these clips, and this comes from an interview Sage Steele with Jay Cutler, which, by the way, the fact that Jay Cutler looks as he does in these interviews, I'm like, what the hell happened to Jay Cutler?
And
wait a
nobody
minute.
mentioned that it was Jay Cutler, the podcast he was on.
But wait a minute, Jay Cutler?
What the?
I didn't know he was still relevant. The last time I remember him being relevant was his retirement post where his then wife at the time posted a photo of his bare ass.
Nick said that in the episode.
I did. I mentioned that because really, when you are forced to lay eyes upon that, it's just it
All
just
right.
refuses to leave you.
So let me set this up. So we're going to show you two clips. The first one is about Sage talking about the vaccine. So let's break that one down first.
A job that I love, and frankly, a job that I need. But again, I love it. I just, I'm not surprised it got to this point, especially with Disney. I mean, a global company like.
Yes. Was that at the end?
That was it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that. But okay. But basically, she came out and said that the vaccine was sick and scary. That was in that quote. And like, what?
Allow me to say this. Now, I am not a fan of needles myself, but when I got the opportunity to get the vaccine, guess what? I did it. Now that second shot was brutal. I was sick for a couple of days, but you know what? I feel better, knowing that I'm vaccinated and such, and that can't say I won't get COVID, but I have more protection basically.
Any side effects that you vaccine is better off than getting itself.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I had COVID, for crying out loud. I had it.
I'm
really sick. I'm really sick of people playing epidemiology. I really am.
Well,
I had
gonna
COVID and I dealt with it and I still got the vaccine because people say, well, the conspiracy theory. Well, if you got COVID, you don't need to get the vaccine. That's
let me ask you, Nick. Do you want to relive having COVID?
No. Fuck no. It was awful. For 14 days, I was stuck in this office and on this floor, the second floor of my house. Go get it. Seriously.
All right.
Now,
let's bring in the second clip.
The second clip, now, Nick and I almost lost our minds and broke out in hives over this clip where she basically makes some weird comments about Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama. So listen to these.
If they make you choose a race, she's like, what are you going to put? I go, well, both. She's like, well, you can't. She goes, well, what if Barack Obama chose black and he's biracial? I'm like, well, congratulations to the president. That's his thing. I go, I think that's fascinating considering his black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But hey, you do you. I'm going to do me.
I mean, really?
What in God's name does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do with the COVID vaccine?
It doesn't. That's exactly it. Because it seems like she's using a Fox News talking point, and that's what this is. It's
The clip.
Well, you can't be black if a white person raised you.
The clip that I didn't put in because I knew it would make Nick's blood boil, and we talked about it on Beyond the Bench, was that Jay Cutler said that Sage Steele would be the Kansas Owens of the network.
I mean, she already kind of is, and I never realized that. So
she basically is the political talking head of ESPN.
It does not have to be that way. All you have to do is get the shot. Shut up.
Well, considering also Sage Steele might be one of the only female talents left, considering, let's see, you lost Rachel Nichols to suspension, all her trouble. Maria Taylor, the victim of that, is now over at NBC. For whatever reason, you decided Katie Olin was not in your sights anymore. So congratulations. So congratulations, just the loss of talent. It's like that old meme. Go.
And now I feel bad for Carrie Champion.
Go. Isn't she gone already also? I think she is.
Carrie? I don't know.
At least from what I know.
But it's still, I feel bad.
All right. Either way. Oh, Carrie Champion. Let's see. She is. Is she still on ESPN? Is she still on ESPN? I don't know.
I think she left, but I can't confirm that. All right, we got to move on. We got to do some.
Yeah, she did leave. You're right. All right.
Okay.
We got to move on. It's time for rapid rundown.
Woo!
All right. Here we go. Guess what? NFL action, by the way. Remember, guys, it starts early tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. It is our first trip this season to merry old London, and it involves the JETS. Wait, it involves the JOKE joke.
I need to give one outline though. Calvin Ridley is out due to personal issues,
and Russell Gage is out as well.
I hope Calvin Ridley's okay. I really am. I hope he's okay. But still, now that they're in London, are they going to, when they do the Jets chant, is it going to be WANKER, wanker?
Oh my God.
Yeah, Falcons cover.
Even with Ridley and Gage out. Who's the name? Oh, Kyle Pitts, the rookie tight end that they drafted. I say Kyle Pitts is going to have the game of his life.
Take the money.
Take the Falcons to cover. We move on. Saints and Washington. The Saints lost to the Giants, so that's probably why we have as low of a line as we have for this team.
So that being the case, I don't think that the Saints are going to play down to their competition a second week in a row. So I'm picking the Saints. And
if the Saints lose this matchup, I mean if the Saints lose this matchup, there's gonna have to be a lot of questions around Jameis Winston.
I mean,
cover.
It's not even his fault.
Cover.
The Packers and the Bengals. So the Packers they've looked okay. The Bengals, again, I think are an absolutely underrated team, and people need to pay attention to them because they will be a playoff team, I think. That being said, I think Green Bay is still going to cover. It's still Rodgers and company. I still think that the veterans are going to win out here.
And that's going to make the difference. I agree with you.
Yeah, everybody just
RELAX.
cover.
Broncos and the Steelers. So when we originally were talking during the week, the Steelers were the 1.5-point favorite. Now that has shifted over to Denver, and I think rightfully so. Ben Roethlisberger, SUCKS, sucks right now, and I was going to make this one of my upset city picks of the week, but now that the Broncos are the favorite, it's not going to be. Broncos, and yes, the Broncos are going to cover. It is going to be a big win for the Broncos and a huge loss for the Pittsburgh.
I believe in Teddy Bridgewater. I'm taking the Broncos.
No, I think Drew Lock is quarterback. I think Teddy's hurt.
But still. All right. Even then.
That's what I was confusing, Tom. Before the show, I was confusing quarterbacks because I knew Teddy got hurt. I just couldn't remember. So Teddy got hurt. I think Drew Lock is the starter.
But
you know what? The screwed up part is he can still win.
I was gonna say I know Drew Lock is not what I was hyped to be like last season. But you know what? I still believe in Drew Lock against a team that kind of sucks, like the Steelers.
Take the money.
Vikings and the Lions. The Vikings are a 10-point favorite.
This went up 2.5 points.
Here's what I say. I still believe in Jared Goff, and he looks amazing, but the Lions themselves are kind of flat. The Vikings have proven that they can win. -10, I don't think they will cover that. I don't think they will, but I think the Vikings will win.
I agree.
Yeah, I would not take the cover, but I would take the win for sure.
The Titans and the Jaguars. So the Titans are a 4.5-point favorite. I think AJ Brown and Julio Jones are back now. So
it's really not going to matter because of all the black cloud that's flying over the Jaguars organization right now. There's no way they're winning this game in any way, shape, or form.
Not against the Titans.
I mean, I'm sorry, but Derrick Henry's going to run for 90 gajillion yards.
Yeah, really.
Don't get me wrong. And I was kind of embarrassed that the Jets beat the Titans last week. But if they lose to the Jaguars, you might as well wave the flag if they lose this game.
He's still going to rush for 90 gajillion yards. Right? 90 gajillion.
Wait, I thought the 90 gajillion wasn't a number.
He's going to have Madden level numbers, and I'm talking old school Madden 07 numbers when you can pretty much run for miles and miles in the Superstar career mode.
Wow. All right, what do we got?
Eagles, Panthers. Panthers are the 3-point favorites, and I'm all about this Sam Darnold train. And guess what? I think the Panthers are going to go get another victory. And what is it? Are they going to be 4-1 with this victory?
They're undefeated, aren't they?
Are they still undefeated? Panthers.
Yeah, I thought they were undefeated, weren't they?
No, they have a loss. They have.
Wait,
loss.
the Cardinals are the only team that are undefeated still.
Yeah, that's the Cardinals. They lost to they lost to the Cowboys last week. But you know what? I'm still on about that hype train. So they're gonna go 4-1. 4-1.
4-1. All right. Train, motherfucker.
What do you say, Mr.?
I hate this, but I can't believe I'm going to say this. The Panthers are going to win, and they're going to cover. Damn it.
Are you feeling happy about trading Sam Darnold now?
No. No, I'm not. I'm so angry right now.
Get the out of here.
The Dolphins and the Buccaneers. It's the Battle of Florida.
And I'm surprised Buccaneers 14 favorite. So I think
the thing is, if it was 14 points, I don't think the Bucs would have covered. I even think this line is kind of questionable. The 9.5.
It was a point higher a couple days ago.
You know what? I say the Bucs are not going to cover, but they will win. I don't think they will cover.
I say that, but the end. I say.
But then again, Brissett is at helm, and he sucks.
Oh, the Bucs are going to completely destroy Brissett.
Do you think they're going to cover?
I think they'll cover. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I think
Patriots and the Texans. The Patriots are an 8.5-point favorite. You know, the Patriots came this close from beating Brady, and I think when you have that combined with the horrific Texans defense, I think the Patriots are going to have a nice day. I think the Pats cover.
I do think that they're going to cover too.
You can thank the double doink for not winning the game, but in this case, yeah, you're beating the Texans, and you're not going to need Nick Folk to be your victory.
All right. This is a matchup I want to see. Browns-Chargers. This sounds really good on paper. The Chargers are 2.5 favorites. I think the Browns are going to make it a little tough for Justin Herbert. That Browns defense is really good. But I think Herbert's going to have just a bit more in the tank. I think Baker's still a little struggling right now. And I think the Chargers have just a bit more on offense.
It was revealed that Baker has a torn labrum since week 2.
In his non-throwing arm.
Yeah, it's still bad, though.
I know. So I'm
trying to tackle. Why did QBs tackle? I don't get it.
I'm going Chargers cover. Chargers are
going to cover too.
Yeah.
Bears and the Raiders. It's the Bears and the sock puppets.
The puppets.
The puppets are the 5.5-point favorite. So here's the thing. As much as we crapped on Gruden before, like we were talking about with Fields, I think the Bears offense is just so inefficient. I think Fields kind of scares me right now with how bad he was. I got to go Raiders covering.
Yeah, I do too. Even though Fields being the quarterback is going to be a good thing in the long run, I don't think he has the team around him right now.
Yeah. This is the battle of terrible. But unfortunately, the sock puppets are technically the better team in this situation. So I'm going to take them to cover.
All right, here we go. Giants, Cowboys.
Hold me.
-7 for Dallas.
You know, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that you gave me hope last week, but now you have to snatch it away. Can I just cuddle with it a couple minutes more? Come on.
New York football. So here's the thing. Last Sunday was one of the greatest days of modern New York sports. The Jets, Giants, and Yankees all winning. The Giants, Jets, Bills, and Yankees all winning on the same day for the first time since 2009.
The World Series year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this year, guess what? I mean, this week, that's all going to be taken away. The Jets are going to lose in London. The Giants here are going to lose in Dallas. The Yankees are already eliminated.
So it's a lot like life. So I'm going to have to take the Cowboys.
Right.
So we're basically flushing everything down the toilet.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys to cover.
The only undefeated team left, the Cardinals, taking on the 49ers. Trey Lance is going to make his first start.
Big news. George Kittle is out on injured reserve for 3 games.
Kittle's out. Oh, boy, that's going to be bad. I think the Cardinals are going to go 6-0.
If it wasn't bad enough that the Cardinals are the better team, you just gave them more.
Yeah, you just gave them an extra push.
Yeah, Cardinals.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray going to continue his MVP-like season.
Even if it means he has to run around in circles a million times before he throws the football.
So I mentioned
that still works.
So I mentioned the Giants and Jets losing their hope from last week. The Yankees getting eliminated, and for the Bills, congratulations, you get a prize. You play on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
It's a hell of a consolation prize, and by consolation prize, I mean kicking the nuts.
I hate to say this though, but the Chiefs are not the team we expected this year, though.
But it's still Patrick Mahomes, so you're still gonna have to get past him.
Yeah, but how many?
I don't think they will.
Wait a minute. How many times have we said Patrick Mahomes is going to win the game because of him, and he's lost a few games already?
So wait,
what is the record?
Are you going upset then, Nick?
I'm just asking a question. Like, what do you? You're taking Chiefs?
No. Now you got to put your money where your mouth is. Are you going upset?
I was asking a question. I was asking
Are
a theoretical question.
Are you going to go with the upset? Come on.
I would actually take the Bills to be in an upset this week.
Okay, then. I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. If the Chiefs cannot beat the Bills, we have to have a big conversation about the Chiefs next week.
I think Patrick Mahomes looks not like a shell of himself so far this year.
And that's gonna be an issue, but again, I still think you're going to kick the can down the road about that conversation for at least another week.
It's still week 5. Yeah. They're running out of time to get momentum, but there is still time.
And Josh Allen's actually looked more than halfway decent so far.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I want to see this matchup. It's Allen versus Mahomes. It's it's supposed to be 2 of the best quarterbacks, if not the 2 best quarterbacks in the AFC.
And Stefan Diggs looks really good too.
Absolutely. So another big quarterback in the AFC, of course, is Lamar Jackson. Your Monday night matchup for the week is absolutely gross. It's Ravens and the Colts in Baltimore. I don't see how the Colts win this game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm picking the Ravens, but I can't really pick them by 100 points, so I'll just have to take the spread.
Oh, so Kajillion's not a number in this situation. Okay. Yeah, Ravens cover.
It is, and sometimes it isn't. It's like
I want to apologize.
Made up number.
I want to apologize to our Twitter audience because we always put out our picks for Monday and Thursday Night Football, an hour before they happen. I wish we could provide more analysis, but the analysis of this game is the Colts are going to get their ass kicked.
Yeah, that's our professional rubber stamp analysis.
I'll give you one more. It's Lamar Jackson versus Carson Wentz. Analysis done.
I wonder who's gonna win.
It's Lamar Jackson versus the sprained ankles.
And your Thursday night game of the week is just as gross. It's Tampa Bay and Philadelphia.
Wait a minute. So we get to see the old man versus the young and up-and-coming quarterback.
I don't get me wrong with that comparison. I love Jalen Hurts, and I've been fighting for that man. How many times have I said give Jalen a chance this season? But you could call Brady an old man, but you know what? That old man has Evans and Godwin and Brown and O.J. Howard and Cameron Bates He's got Richard Sherman on defense. Sue
Do you
on
need elevator
defense.
music to list every single weapon he has?
I'm just saying.
A lot.
I'm just saying they are going to go into Philadelphia and they are going to pluck off and torture every feather. Pluck off every feather and torture the Eagles.
I mean, you can add Richard Sherman if you want to add him to that
I
list.
did.
too.
I already said
Oh.
Sherman.
Yeah,
The Buccaneers are winning this one probably by a bajillion points.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but back up the Hurts truck because it's not going to last very long.
Again, I like Jalen Hurts, but this is unfair to him to have to deal with this.
Yeah.
All right. That was a fun show. That was packed.
What was that? We got through.
I mean, we somehow got through all the picks. We got through all the stories, and some fraud included. But yeah, we made it through. And make sure you subscribe and follow the Empty the Bench Podcast Network on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Here on YouTube, remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget when you subscribe to ring that bell. That way you get informed of every single video.
Ring that bell!
We've got a bunch of content out already. We've got a bunch of new shows coming.
We
So
have
make
our
sure you
first
keep your eyes
episode.
here.
We have our first episode of Beyond the Bench with the two of you that went out yesterday. Tomorrow, Hear Now the News with a big first guest for this show as part of the network.
Yes. You know what? We can say it. It's already scheduled. So, and we would have loved to have this guest, considering who it was. Ken Singleton, who just retired from the Yankee booth, is the first guest for Jerry Barmish on Hear Now the News on the first episode of our podcast network. So make sure you tune into that on our YouTube channel, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And that'll be up there for you to listen and watch.
So a bunch of new shows coming to the network, some big stuff planning. Keep following along with us. Keep liking, keep subscribing. You can follow us across social media at ETB Sports. You can follow the three of us individually on our Twitters. You can see them scrolling across the bottom right now. And that is going to do it. So until next time, for Nick Federa and Nick Morgeson, I'm Tom Albano. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.